Hey there, Mr. Esposito. How you doing? Hey, Mr. I can't remember your last name. I believe it's like Saint Canaan. I can't remember, but Hybrid Media. Good to see you, man. Hope y'all doing okay. Mr. Esposito, the audio and video looks good to you. I'm seeing issues on my side. I think my ATEM is wigging out. These things get really hot and they don't have a fan on them. I wonder if there's anything to do with that. Canaan St. Rose, my bad. I'm so sorry, brother. Thank you for being here. She's plumbing issues. Good grief. Man. Hang in there, push through. You know what? I may just end up plugging in my webcam because I still see the stream is struggling with it today. Well, where's my webcam? There it is. But not sure where the USB is going. So bizarre. Reload fixed it for you. Well, yeah, now I'm getting a warning from YouTube. It says the bit rate is weird. Let me make sure I don't have anything running in the background. I don't think I do. Blame YouTube, he says. All right, so my backup was running, so I can pause that for now. That's no biggie. I don't see anything else running, though. Really, really weird. Anyway, hope y'all doing all right. I'm just hanging out here, and if anybody wanted to ask questions or what have you, I'm here to attempt to answer them. And yes, Mr. Esposito, your alerts worked this time. Not sure why that wasn't working for you before, though. That's very odd. But you're not the first person to say that. There's been a couple people mentioned to me that they never got the alerts either. And I know they're subscribers because I've seen them on everything else. So I'm not sure. It's a YouTube thing. Nothing's perfect. Boy, am I learning that. In the meantime, I'm sitting here going through my email because that's what I do. I still use email. He says he thought it was him. Yeah, it usually is you. Just kidding. But yeah, I go through email. I'm an old head, I guess. Because email just, it works. Yes, there's spam and whatnot, but when it comes to doing business, email works. Can't send a contract through freaking social media DMs. What kind of shit is that? Come on, people. But that's just me. Which reminds me, I got to do expense stuff today. Speaking of that, Hybrid Media says I'm working on my taxes. Yeah. That's like a freaking ongoing battle, man, with creators. Is just freaking IRS. You're never going to win. You know, you can try to shuffle stuff and move stuff, and they still figure out a way to get it. Good grief. But yeah, I'll be going through expenses today. In addition to trying to get expenses lined up or categorized for next year, you know, because I like to try to make next year's filing easier. You know, every year I say that, you know, so I try to stay ahead and organize throughout the year. And it's gotten better and better. It's still Still a pain, but it's gotten better and better. A very soft chair cushion. Joe Esposito says, I just buy a very soft chair cushion for this time of year to be ready for taxes. Oh, gosh. Hilarious. All right, folks, give me a second. I'm just going to reboot this ATEM. I still see this thing flashing here. So I'm just going to turn it off. So the video is going to go black, but it's all good. So I'm going to kill the ATEM. I'm just going to allow it to reboot or chill out for half a second. But like I said, I think these things, they just get really hot sometimes because they don't have an on-off switch, you know? And this thing's been on, it's been plugged in for days, at least for me anyway, because I never unplug it. So I'm just going to give it a second, and I'm going to try to elevate it too, just so there could be some type of passive air going up under it. So let me grab something to prop it up on, like this lens cap. I'll do that. So now it is not flush against the desk. And we're going to plug it back in. And there it is. So you should see it pop up on your screen momentarily. There we go. So let's see if that makes it better. Let's see. Ozone Nightmare says some great shots on your IG lately. Hopefully fun to do and leads to some more work. Thank you, sir. He's talking about, I guess he's talking about the sports stuff I've been doing, the high school sports stuff. For those that don't know, I am freelancing with Max Preps, and I remember looking at that opportunity and saying, you know what, I'll give it a go. But quite frankly, I wasn't expecting a lot from it as far as finance goes. Not expecting to make a ton of money. But I gotta tell you, I've made more money than I thought I would. So I guess what I'll do is I'll keep saying, I don't know if I'm going to make any money doing this, and just see what happens. Who knows? But it's been pretty cool seeing the commissions come in for those. And now there is one interesting thing here, being that I'm in Sonoma County here, and one of the few freaking black people here in Sonoma County, you know, people recognize me. And so, heck, they recognize the whole family. So whenever I show up to these games and I walk by as I'm getting ready to go set up, and I'll walk by and I hear people saying, that's Aunt Pruitt. That's Aunt Pruitt. You know. And then every now and then, some of the students, or most of the time it's the students at that particular school, whether they're players or just students in general, they come up and they yell, Mr. Pruitt, yay, that's Mr. Pruitt there. You know, it's always funny to me. Hybrid Media says, I've been using the OC Go Stream instead of my ATEM. It has an off switch. Oh, you did? So you got the OC? Man, I've worked with OC in the past, and they mentioned that Go Stream to me, but I never got time to fool with it. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if they want me to look at it again. I don't know. I never had time back when they reached out. I was crazy busy with my stuff at Pruitt at the time, and I couldn't really dive into it. But, I'll check them out, because it would have been more of a Aunt Pruitt media discussion versus a Pruitt discussion. That's something that most people didn't realize, that just because I had partnerships and relationships with different OEMs and whatnot, that didn't necessarily mean they fit Pruitt content, you know. So I did stuff for me, and I did stuff for me and Pruitt, and I did stuff for Pruitt, you know, because it wasn't all the same bucket. But yeah, I'll check them out. Kobe B says, what's up, Aunt? Good to see you, Kobe. And Ozone says, I'm very glad I keep my streaming set up. Brokers. You're so that right, dude. How about you fat finger that message one more time? If y'all have any questions for me, feel free to ask, be it photography related, content creation related, tips, gear, what have you. I'll try to answer them as best I can. I'm just going to hang out here for roughly an hour, something like that. This is a little bit slower day today. Right now, I'm trying to manage making sure the podcast is up and out, doing what it needs to do. It was recorded last night. But that's the thing. Kobe B says, I've had a few friends that have recently shared they like photography and want to get into it, and I always suggest you. Oh, thank you, Kobe. I appreciate that. Yeah, tell folks if they have questions, just shoot me a message. I try to answer messages when I see them, but I get a ton of weird messages and spam, and a lot of times things get lost in the shuffle, but I do try. Ozone says, that was fun. No, he said that was YouTube, man. Oh, okay, not me. I suck at typing. Mackie Diz creator, and I love it. Hey, Steve Maris, good to see you. Hybrid Media, I'm not sure what Mackie Diz is. Let me look that up real quick. So let's go to good old search engine. Oh, that Mackie. Oh, yeah. That Mackie, DLZ creator. Yeah, Mackie's been in the game for generations, man. Good call, sir. Yeah, there's that platform out there. Then there's also the Rodecaster. They have like 3 iterations for their setup, and I think they got like the Rodecaster Pro, Rodecaster Pro 2, and Rodecaster Duo. I think that's 4 that I've named. Hey, Jasmine, good to see you, dear. Hope you're doing all right and eating good. And there we go. YouTube live stream is just going slow again for whatever reason. I didn't do it, y'all. YouTube's been battling with me today. I'm not sure why. So bizarre. Let me just stop that there. See if that helps. Have you seen or used Sora? Yeah, I've seen Sora. Sora is, for those that don't know, that is an AI generated video tool, or a video tool that is using generative AI, and it's not perfect yet, which is expected. But at the same time, Sora is really, really good considering where we've come from. You know, because I think it was like a year or so ago when they started talking about generative AI video based off you putting in just a text phrase, a text prompt, and saying, you know what, I need a video of a bird flying through the sky with the beach below and swoops down to get a fish out of the water. You know, you could type that in and it would create a video that does that essentially. And granted, that's a lot of parameters to consider. So, of course, the first couple of iterations are going to be pretty craptastic. And there goes the ATEM again. So let me just kill the ATEM. I'm just going to kill that, and I'll bring my webcam in a second. But anyway, the iteration that they're on now for Sora, it's really, really good. It's gotten a lot closer to providing, you know, decent video based off of text prompts. It still needs some refining. You know, you still have the issue where AI struggles with hands on humans. It'll give them extra fingers or no fingers and things like that. And then you have to look at frame rates. Sometimes the frame rates will look weird if when it's regarding motion. So It's come a long way, but I don't think we need to just sort of dismiss it just yet, you know? All right. Kobe also says, I'd love to see something similar in the DaVinci Resolve software. Yeah, they probably have that in the works too. They use a lot of AI tools, and so does Adobe. All right, hold on a second. Let me check and see why this webcam isn't working. Okay. So YouTube is, oh, so you can hear the typing. Interesting. Well, one screen says my mic isn't working. I don't know what it is. YouTube's struggling today. Let me see if I can turn on this webcam. Hold on. Let's go here. All right, so still don't know why it says my mic isn't working, but yet y'all can hear me. Just gonna roll with it. I don't know, YouTube. You're just having a day. You're having a moment, and I see Hardhead has popped up in here. Never mind him, folks. I'm going to still grab this USB cable from my webcam if I can. Looks like it's stuck on something back there. Whatever. I give up on that. Forget it. Miko says, sound is good. Good to see you, Miko. Right. There we go. We're good. My little monitor for YouTube says it's just spinning, but my live view over here says I'm good. So I'm just going to keep rolling. Nope. There it goes again. Anyway, any questions? I'm not going to pay attention to the video glitches. The audio is working. That's what matters the most right now. So if you got questions, go ahead and pop them in there. I'm just here to help and hang out. Oh. More ASMR. ASMR of a sweatshirt rubbing against a mic. Grabbing this USB, plugging it in over here. Plugging it in over there just to be safe. Max headroom effect. Oh man, I remember that from the 80s. The glitch guy. Never quite understood that show back then, but I remember it. All right, so does this webcam work now? Doesn't look like it. If I need to add it, I can. And the show was fantastic. I barely remember, but I can't say I remember the premise of that show. I may have to go back and look for a few minutes. I'm definitely not going to go down a rabbit hole about it, though. I got other shit to do than to look up max headroom. Gosh. Let's add a new device. Let's see, add an existing. And we're going to say this one is. Use a preset. That's the webcam. There we go. There's the webcam. So if I need the webcam, it's here. All right. I can move that like that right there. But in the meantime, we're back to my regular A cam. Yeah, Hardhead says audio's bugging out. That's something YouTube's doing. I'm sorry. Not sure why they're struggling. Does it sound better now? Because that screen says the audio is better now. YouTube, fix your shit today. It's too late in the day to be having a bad day. So hilarious. There we go. All right. Okay, so yeah, reloading, I guess that's what does it for most people. Anyway, I'm tired of the glitch. I'm just going to go back to my webcam. It ain't glitching over there. All right, so anything else y'all want to talk about today? Like I said, I'm not as busy today. It's still doing the whole job search stuff, going through, looking at different gigs and applying, whatnot. There's also stuff like voiceover roles that I look at every day to see if it's something I could qualify for and do. There's a lot of different voice acting roles out there. I'll go ahead and tell you now, women, if you're interested in doing VO work and actually have decent equipment, there's gigs out there for you. There's a whole lot more roles out there for ladies than it is men based on what I'm seeing right now. So it's prime opportunity. Hardhead says in the chat, the Vision Pro by Apple, you think you would get your hands on it? Not right now, sir. Micah Sargent had it for a couple of weeks because they give you a 2-week trial or what have you. And everything seems okay with it, but it's the first version. So they still need to do some refining. And then it's not necessarily a VR set that is like the previous VR sets that are out there. This Apple Vision thing, it seems more like a solo product, something that's just for you. You want to consume some content. You want to work on your email or something, you know. It doesn't really seem like it's something community based the way the other headsets are, where they have this whole metaverse and yada, yada, yada. But it's really, really pretty, really cool tech. But it definitely ain't for everyone just yet, especially not for $3,500. If it were $500, $600, sure, everybody would jump on it. I don't know about for $3,000 though. Jasmine Woodson says, where could one get, quote, good equipment? Well, Jasmine, I know a place or three, and then I know a particular residential address for you, you know, to help you get started on it. But yeah, there's a lot of different options on Amazon as far as audio equipment that can lead you down a rabbit hole. There are microphones out there that are thousands of dollars. There are some that are, you know, like these mics that I use. I think they're about right at 400, close to $400. But then there's some that are pretty good that you can get for $100 or $150, so you can get started in there with a pretty good mic. Doesn't have to be the super duper mic, but if you know how to use Adobe Audition or Audacity and do the equalizer, you can make that mic sound really good. You can make this little $20 lavalier mic that I have sound good if you know how to do a equalizer. So yeah, that's the main thing. Because with VO stuff, you record the script that they need you to do, but you also do the editing. So you have to be pretty skilled in that stuff and have a decent recording environment, not just the equipment. You have to have a recording environment too. Your room can't be noisy. One thing that people struggle with in studio recording is they forget that the desk is a hard surface. That's a hard surface. So it's really, really reflective of sound. The monitor in front of you is really, really reflective of sound. So you have to try to fill the room up with junk, not really junk, but just fill your room up with stuff to help keep that sound from bouncing all over the place. And then if you can put carpet down, that helps absorb some of the sound. I have a mat here on my desk that helps a little bit. I got these acoustic panels here. All of that stuff helps, Oh, thank you for the super chat, Jasmine. You ain't have to do that. Hardhead says, thinking about how serious I want to take my nerdy TikToks. Would need a better microphone for it. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, sir. With TikTok, believe it or not, the audio clearly isn't the biggest concern on TikTok. The biggest key on TikTok is the visuals and the freaking captions, because there's a huge percentage of people watching TikTok videos and Instagram reels, and they're watching them with the volume really, really low or muted, because they're usually watching it when they're not supposed to be watching it. So the captions are the main thing to fix and get that done. And the people that are using microphones, most of the time they're using a phone microphone, which is pretty good because it's got noise cancellation. Or one thing I'm seeing, and I hate it, is people are using these little mini microphones. They look like lavaliers, but I don't think they're lavalier mics. They look like little lavalier mics, and they put them right here on the damn mouth, and they sound horrible. But all of the mean people are using that mic. So that's something to consider. I have no desire to use one of those stupid microphones. I have good mics. I have good portable mics for my phone that sounds way better, but it's total overkill for TikTok and Reels. Totally. Fine Dynamic says, hybrid media. Fine Dynamic XLR is a great mic. And you can get, I never seen that. Dang, that's good for $60. Dude. And it's a dynamic mic? Hold up. I got to look this up now. Hold on, Kanan. Let's see. Amazon. Fine. Dynamic. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I see one. USB and XLR combination. Okay. And it's a dynamic mic. That's pretty good. And it's 50 hertz to 16. Yeah, it's got the good frequency range. Wow. That's a good find. I'm going to stick this in the chat, y'all. Hold on. I'll put this in here. Put this in the chat for people that are interested. It's an affiliate link, just so you know. There. So, all right. When it comes to some of these mics, I like that price on that. And God, this white balance is horrible on this camera. I like this price. And it's one of those things where you got to figure out what is the catch here. Even when you buy these expensive mics, you still need to figure out what is the catch with them, because none of them sound the same, and none of them are going to work for, not all of them are going to work for your particular voice. Most people like to use the Shure SM7B. It's a nice studio dynamic microphone. You see it on a lot of popular broadcasts and podcasts and so forth, because it's a damn good mic. But for me, which I actually have one, hold on, I got one over here that they sent me to try out. They got a new one. Hold on, let me grab it. Okay, so Shure SM7B is a classic dynamic studio microphone. This is the SM7DB. Get the glare out. There we go. You've probably seen that microphone, but this is the DB version. And the when I've spoken into a Shure SM7B, it sounded good, but because of my voice frequency is around the mid to low, it really amplified that low end of my voice. So I sounded a lot like this when I was speaking into it, and some people like that sound. But this microphone is really making me sound like me, and I don't have to do a lot of EQ to it. So, but you can say that about all of the mics out there. There's a lot of good mics out there, but how do they make your voice sound? Do they make you sound good? And do they make you sound like yourself? Let's see. Hardhead says, where they are making the takeoff zone bigger, they would measure where you take off. Sorry, that. Oh, yeah, you're talking about the long jump. Yeah, you can talk about that on your TikTok, sir. Hybrid Media says the handling noise is the only negative, and it's pretty close to the Shure SM7B. Okay. Yeah, what he means by handling noise. Okay. This is another thing to consider with microphones. Damn, I wish I had another one here, but I had a Beyerdynamic handheld M88 microphone. It was a vocalist mic. You hold it in your hand and you walk around with that mic on the stage, you shouldn't hear it in your hands. You know, this right here, tapping on that cable, this XLR cable, is being picked up because it's tapping the cable. But if I were to be holding this mic in my hand, you shouldn't hear it. And that's all build quality. Sound is one thing, but you have to try to figure out canceling out unwanted sounds, whether it's the handling of the mic with your hands or the noise around you and stuff like that. All of that stuff has to be considered, and all of that goes into the pricing of microphones. Ozone Nightmare says, I picked up the Apogee Hype mic. Definitely far more quality than my show would ever require, but it sounds good. Hype mic is very accurate in capturing how I sound. So in that respect, yeah, see, that shit matters. Dang, I got another mic over here on the floor. Actually, I might give this mic away. Hold on. Let me get it too. Jasmine, I might just give you this mic. And folks in the chat, Jasmine is my niece, so yes, I'm showing her some special treatment. Deal with it. But this is a Joby Wavo Pod mic. I've not even used this thing yet, but I am pretty sure this is going to be a good quality starter microphone. I believe it's USB. So let's see here. Broadcast sound includes a pop filter for vocal plosives. Let's see here. And compatible with most USB devices. So you do not have to have a mixer interface or anything like that. So you know where to find us. This is here. I've been cleaning out this studio, trying to rearrange things, and you'd be surprised the shit I find in the studio. There's so much stuff in here. I gave away a Wacom Cintiq Pro a couple weeks ago to somebody that was in Club Twit because I wasn't using it anymore. I still have another Wacom Cintiq 16 over there that I use from time to time, so I'm not going to give it away, but I need to get it out of this studio because I need space because I'm moving stuff around. And you're welcome, Jasmine. Just come get it whether I'm here or not. It'll be in here in the studio in the box. Still got tape on it. Hasn't even been opened yet. I guess they sent that to me at some time. I don't remember. That happens a lot. Find a lot of stuff in here. Is there anything else up on that shelf? I might just have to do a fire sale and stuff. I have so much stuff, y'all. That's just equipment. But that's the thing. When you're a creator, you accumulate equipment over the years, whether you're accumulating things and you grow into different products at times. That tends to happen. But when it comes to stuff like photography, I don't think you'll ever have enough lighting, because not all lights are created equally. I don't think you'll ever have enough cables. I don't think you'll ever have enough mic stands and tripods and light stands. Because that's just part of the business. You need all of that stuff at some point. So you might have more than you realize, but you end up needing it. Hybrid Media says, you got any drones? I just threw away my drone because the batteries were shit-tastic. They were out of date. You're not going to get a replacement. So I just threw the drone away, took the card out of it, and just threw it away. I do want another drone. I don't need another drone. Drones are getting harder and harder to deal with. I never did get Part 125 certified. I thought about it, but it wasn't worth it for me in the long run. When I started looking around for paid opportunities, and I wasn't finding anybody biting for it, for me, at least not, especially not in this area. And so then if you're not Part 125 certified, it's damn near impossible to fly because the airspace is restricted now almost everywhere over here. So it's no point for me to have a drone. The only reason I would get one is I want to help out the football team here with some of their practice stuff, because this community has been really supportive of me and the boys and Queen Pruitt over these last 4 years, and I do it for them. They're good people. Any other questions? Let's see. Emails popping in. Nothing of note, though. Have you all checked out the podcast yet? It's not on YouTube yet. YouTube is taking forever with its processing, but I'm pretty sure that's my fault because I made the video file like high quality. And it's like, dude, we can't figure out if your video is legit, because they have to do all of their checks and whatnot to make sure you don't have any kind of questionable content in it. Let's see. Well, maybe it looks like it's ready now. Hey, it looks like it's ready now. So let me publish it. It just took it forever. So let me go ahead and hit publish on that now. So do edit, make that public, set it in. I don't want to set it as I'll set it as a premiere. It's just going to screw up the live stream. So I'll just schedule it. That's what we'll do. We'll schedule it to go off at 11 o'clock, which will be plenty of time for me to get off of this here live stream, I believe. Done. And schedule. Oh, now it won't. There it goes. I'm gonna say, well, it won't let me schedule it. Today's the 23rd, and we will make it go out at about 11:15. So all of you folks, turn on your notifications. Done. Ooh, so that's one thing off my plate today. Just making sure that shit worked. All right. Let's see. Hybrid Media says a long pole and an Insta360 camera can give you a good drone look. Yeah, I've done that too. And here's another funny story. I just threw away a 360 camera. I had a 360 camera, and that company, they pretty much went under. So I knew I wasn't going to get any more support on it. I just threw it away in my effort of cleaning out this studio. And it was cool. It had a waterproof case and all of that stuff, and it was nice, but let it go. Ozone Nightmare says, tomorrow for the pod, that's part of my morning doodle and coffee time. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. But he caught the tail end of the live recording. The live recording was fun. Since you guys are here as subscribers, I'll give you a heads up. I need to do a checklist again, like I used to do with doing this stuff, because I had to use the backup audio for this week's episode because the primary audio did not record. Why? Because I didn't hit the damn button for the primary audio. So we use the backup audio. Thank goodness I have a backup audio. So it doesn't sound as good, but it's definitely audible and good to go. So lesson learned. Just go back to doing the checklist of stuff. And for the people that are audio listeners, I actually put a little bit of a teaser in the audio version versus the video version to give you a sense of, yeah, I screwed up audio. Yeah, I did. Shit happens. I'm sorry. It'll get better, I promise, because I don't like that stuff. I don't like when that happens. Bit anal. All right. Oh, thanks for the super chat, man. Ozone Nightmare with a $10 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, some rich person comes to you and says they'll fund your dream shoot. Any subject, anywhere, whatever equipment you want. What do I shoot? Wow. For me, I guess the what would have to be, someone human, because I like stories that come from people and their background. Some people would say, I'd love to go on this travel shoot and do this and that and what have you, or photos or videos of this beautiful car or, some type of object. But for me, I would rather it be some type of cinematic story about a person. And, think of, what was that series called? The People of New York. I think it was called The People of New York. There was a lot of interesting photos that street photographer got. But yeah, I would like to base it around that. As far as equipment goes, photo versus video is different equipment for me. Photo wise, I would be totally happy using my current Canon R5C. For a photo. In the lighting, I would still use some of the lights that I have, the Stellar Pro lights, because they're freaking good and accurate. But video, ooh, dude, I would love to try an Arri video camera, cinema camera, or yeah, definitely Arri. Definitely an Arri cinema camera. With the Super 35 and like a DZO film. I believe they have what they call a Pictor series lenses that are parfocal cinema lenses. So it's got really, really beautiful optics. And when you zoom in and out, the focus stays locked in regardless of how you zoom. And just, oh gosh, they're like $4,000 lenses minimum. But they're so good. So yeah, I would have to shoot somebody to get their story, be it photo or video. That's the main thing. Hybrid Media says, I'm building a podcast studio here locally in Georgia so that folks who are not tech savvy can get a podcast going without having to go through a long learning curve. That's a good idea, man. In Charlotte, they had workspaces like that was already set up. And there was a client of mine. That's what they were using, is that workspace. I went in there to help them shoot it, brought my cameras and stuff, and shot the promotional stuff in that workspace. But it was essentially a pop-up podcast studio. It didn't have everything, like they couldn't live stream from it back then because they didn't have all the equipment, but they could definitely record quality sound in there. That's a good idea. If you can invest and do that, do it. Cormac Crosshaven. Hey, good to see you. I've seen you on my Instagram. Crosshaven Computer says, I'm thinking of buying a camera for vlogging my travel as I'm going to Beirut from Ireland. Also, will be using it for my TikTok channel. Hope all is good. Thanks from Ireland. Hey, good to see you and thank you. All right. I get that question quite a bit. And my answer always starts the same. What is your budget? That matters, because I could tell you to go out and buy a Canon R6, and you pull up a Canon R6 and you say, well, damn, the body is $2,000. That's just the body. You know, I still need the lens. So yeah, you know, you might be able to get a bundle deal and get it all for $2,500, something like that, you know. And so that freaks people out. So I always ask, what is your budget? Because there are a lot of options out there, a lot of options. So if you're still here, Crosshaven, let me know what your budget is here in the chat, and I will gladly go from there. And I'll even stick some affiliate links to those items right here in the chat, so you can click on them right now. 600 to 800 euro. All right, cool. I got something we can work with. Okay, so you want to talk photography and you want to talk vlogging. And let's see. I got one right here in my head right now. Let me pull it up. I'm a Canon shooter, but I have nothing against other products out there. But I typically lean towards Canon because I just love Canon gear. And not to mention, Canon has just shown me love over the years, and I'm a nobody. So nothing but love for them. Let's see. So first camera would be, pull this one up here. There. And this is a full bundle. Well, it might be a little over 800 euros, but if I click this link and send this to you, copy. Here it is. This is my answer. Boom. And Hybrid Media, you'd be surprised to see that that camera is not a Canon. That's one option there for you, Carmack. It is a Sony camera. I've played with that camera. It is really freaking just underrated. Totally underrated. And they have another version out there that's a little less expensive. I'm going to grab that one too. The difference is why they're different in price is the sensor size. Okay. So let me put this one in here. Okay, so paste that one. That's option 2. That's the less expensive model, but again, it's the sensor size. And when you're talking cameras, that sensor, that's the main business part of it. Okay. Smartphone cameras are good, but a smartphone isn't going to take pictures in all scenarios like a point and shoot camera would, because the image sensor is bigger. Okay. And then a APS-C sensor is good in a camera, but in certain low light situations, a full frame sensor is going to give you better performance. So, all of it, they have their plus and minuses, so I would start out with that ZV from Sony. It's highly, highly underrated. I've played with both of those models, and they're solid cameras for that budget price. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for using the affiliate link, and appreciate the support. Appreciate you being here. Hybrid Media agrees with me. Yeah, the ZV-E10 is a great camera. The only problem I have with both of those cameras, full disclosure, is the size. I have decent size hands here. I keep looking up at my other camera. I'm supposed to be looking at this webcam. I have decent size hands, so camera ergonomics is really, really important to me. And most cameras out there are too small. Back when we first started getting into the mirrorless technology umpteen years ago, I didn't like them. And Sony was like the king of the hill when it came to mirrorless cameras. Great live, and folks, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Jasmine. It's good to see you. Be good out there. Appreciate you popping in here. But the whole mirrorless camera thing, when it first came out, I didn't like them at all. They were way too small for me, and Sony was crushing it. They were killing the game. The image quality was beautiful, and when you did video, the color science was just absolutely beautiful. They had great lenses. Oh, it was great. But every time I picked up one, it felt like a freaking toy in my hand, and I didn't like it. I didn't get into the mirrorless bodies until the Canon R came out. I held that one, and it felt better. Didn't feel great, but it felt better. And then Sony put out their A7R, I believe it was the Mark IV, A7R Mark IV. This is their high megapixel camera. I picked that one up, put it in my hands, and loved it. It felt like a full frame camera, even though it was mirrorless. It felt great. And then later on, a couple years later, Canon pulled out their R6 and their R5, and I was hooked because they felt right. The grips on them, like I got my R5C. Let me grab that. Hold on. Now, granted, I got rails on here because this was sitting up on a video tripod, but this grip, this is an R5C, and this is pretty much the same body as an R5, with the exception of it having this additional exhaust fan on the back to keep it cool for shooting high-res video. But this grip right here, that's perfect for my hands. And you see, if I could tilt it right, that groove in the handle, that is really important on camera bodies. Really important. Most of them back then, when mirrorless came out, that groove wasn't, it was too shallow. So you couldn't really grip it, and it felt like a toy. But this one here, what Canon did with the R5 and the R6, R5C, this is perfect. Fits just perfect in my hands. Very comfortable. And I've spoken about this on the podcast. When you're shooting like a sporting event, you're holding that camera for a couple of hours and you're going to get tired. And the more ergonomic that camera is, the better off you're going to be shooting that event. Hybrid says, I'm using the A7 IV and have yet to really outgrow it. That A7 IV is a badass camera, dude. That A7 IV is a badass camera. Again, that particular body, they changed the grip. Sony changed the grip on that. It's not the same as the A7 III. If you go back and grab an A7 III and sit it down next to an A7 IV, you'll visually see the difference. I've felt the difference because I've played with both of those. But that A7 IV, that's another camera I would recommend to people that are curious with being on the Sony side of things. Yeah, it's a solid camera. All right. Well, folks, we're coming up on the hour. I'm seeing messages in my family's Slack. This says something was declined. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay. I'll come back to that momentarily. Do you have any questions before I get out of here? Quick questions. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Something like that. Does my ATEM want to work now? Let's see, camera. All right, that camera's back. It's not glitching. You're welcome, Crosshaven. I really do appreciate you. It's good seeing you on my social media. I recognized you immediately here in the chat. Mr. Ozone, thank you. Have yourself a good weekend too. Appreciate all of your support. Great stream. I will check out your podcast tomorrow. Thank you, Hybrid Media. Yeah, the podcast is antpruitt.com/podcast. If you're using a podcast player, that gets you the audio version of it. If you click on the Spreaker link or what have you, that takes you directly to your preferred podcast app. Or here on my YouTube channel, antpruitt.com/YouTube, the playlist says podcasts because, YouTube is doing podcasts now. So it's available there too in video version. The first couple episodes, I started out just as a slate on the screen, but I continued to build out the studio to make it a multicam set. So now we have a video version of the podcast too. So thank you all for checking that out. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. The video version of this week's podcast will be going live in T-minus 16 minutes. So go ahead and hit subscribe in YouTube and tell it to notify you and check out the show. Y'all be good. I shall catch y'all next time and see you soon.